Hello everybody, Nate the Gamer here. About a week ago, I attended PAX East 2019, so I'd like to take this video to, talk about my thoughts about the event. I will mostly be talking about the Expo Hall, the different activities that the convention held, and just the overall atmosphere. And the end will be dedicated to all the free loot I got from the booths and the other stuff I bought. So let's jump right in. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the Expo Hall itself. It's frickin' massive, and there's a lot of stuff to do in there by itself. It uses up the entire showroom floor. One half of the expo room floor is dedicated to video games, with the other half of the expo hall dedicated to tabletop gaming. I'm gonna start over in that area just to get it out of the way. So in the tabletop area, you can try out some new board games released by a bunch of companies, buy a fresh pair of dice, buy a new deck of cards. I saw a lot of people walking around with mystery booster packs, or you can rent out a bunch of board games to play in the free play area. This area also had their own tabletop tournaments. Now, I don't know that many tabletop games, although I do know Coop and Exploding Kittens, which both had tournaments. It's really interesting to step away from the video games for a bit just to see what the world of board games is like. Someday, I really do want to get into Dungeons & Dragons or Magic the Gathering, and I feel like this would be a great place to start. Starting to transition into video games, there's the VR free play area that had options for the Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive with their own list of games. Then there was the PC free play area where you can play a list of multiplayer or single player games. There's the PAX East Arena stage, where the official Smash Bros. And Splatoon tournaments were held. Then we reached the main attraction of PAX, that being the showroom floor with different developers showing off their new games. It's kind of like E3. A lot of the major developers and publishers, including Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, Oculus, Devolver, Bandai Namco, the list basically goes on. Unfortunately, I was only fully able to attend the Nintendo booth and one game from the Sony booth because you had to reserve them digitally. I didn't really go to Microsoft because none of the games over there interested me. On Team Nintendo, I played Yoshi's Crafted World, which they were heavily promoting since it came out the same weekend. It's a pretty solid platformer, and the visuals are pretty cute. There was My Friend Pedro, which is actually a pretty cool game. You play as this guy that uses ballerina-style attacks, shoots guns, and his only friend is a banana. It had some frame rate issues, but I think the developers can iron them out before launch. I was also able to play the Stranger Things Season 3 video game, and to be honest, I wasn't really impressed. It just felt like a mediocre puzzle beat-em-up. In a section that's separate from the Nintendo booth, I was able to play Hellblade, which is actually pretty cool, and Assassin's Creed 3, where I got stuck behind a tree and a rock, and the poor Nintendo guy couldn't get me out. With the one Sony reservation I had, I was able to play Falcon Age on the PlayStation VR. While the visuals were stunning, the PSVR's tracking was very poor, and it kind of ruined the experience. I also played a lot of indie developed games. There was Get to the Orange Door, which is a first-person shooter that has a lot of wall-running mechanics and the ability to slow down time. Dunk Lords, which is basically a more violent NBA Jam, where you can fight your opponents, customize your team's layout for extra power, and insane dunks. There was 505 Games, which is showing off Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night, made by the same guy that directed Castlevania: Symphony of the Night, and a more complete build of Indivisible, with the studio working on it being Lab Zero Games. The last time I saw this game was when the Kickstarter first launched and they had a free demo. It's pretty cool to see the game more complete, especially how long it's been since I've actually seen it. Wisebird Games was showing off World of Horror, a monochrome first-person point-and-click adventure game, and the second game was Cyberpunk Bartender Action Nirvana, the sequel to Valhalla. Probably the biggest highlight of the indie game scene was .emu. They were showing off Windjammers 2, which looks like Windjammers 1, but with beautiful hand-drawn graphics, and probably the game that was played the most in that area was Streets of Rage 4, the long-awaited installment in Sega's classic series, with this being the first time it was actually playable to the public. Unfortunately, no recording was allowed in the booth, but let me tell you, for being 40% done, it's looking pretty good. Now, I can go on and on about the different stuff you can do on the Expo Hall, but I'll be here all day, so I'm gonna talk about the other activities that PAX offered this year. There was the console free play room, where you can play a vast catalog of games on the last 2 generations of game consoles. Then there was the retro console free play area, the same concept as the modern consoles, but you can play on consoles from the Atari 2600 up to the original Xbox. Although technically they did have a Super Nintendo Classic, but I'll let that slide. There was also a room dedicated to Steel Battalion, a mech-style game developed by Capcom with a big, complicated controller. There was some guy telling you how to play. There was a stage dedicated to Just Dance 2019, a bunch of beanbags to sit in to kick back and play some handheld video games, the jam space to listen to some rockin' video game tunes, lounges for different types of people and their hobbies. There were panels to go to, starring YouTube celebrities or people that are experts within a specific profession. There were also console and handheld tournaments for each day, with the console tournaments having one extra mystery tournament. And finally, scattered around the convention center are these PAX XP booths. Scanning these in order will tell you a little story. You also get points which you can redeem to have a spin on the PAX XP prize wheel, which could be a red hydrogen phone, among other prizes. So needless to say, there are a lot of things to do at PAX East this year. This was definitely a multi-day event, just so you can get the full experience. Surprisingly, Saturday wasn't as hectic as I thought it would be. I was actually able to get into the Nintendo line a couple times, compared to the day before, when the line was capped pretty much every time I came back. As for the overall environment, it was mostly upbeat. Everyone was just happy playing with each other, and just sharing what they like to do. Everyone was talkative in line. Even outside of the convention center, people were still playing with each other. It was just really cool seeing people come together and have such a good time. The people working at the booths were really helpful and answered pretty much any question I would throw at them. The PAX enforcers were also really nice. On the first day of PAX, my friend and I were playing a very, quality game. And this PAX enforcer shows up, and my friend starts facing off against this guy, and he gets completely wrecked. I couldn't help but notice that he was wearing a Steel Vengeance hat. For those of you that don't know, Steel Vengeance is a roller coaster located at Cedar Point, and I'm a pretty big coaster head. So as soon as I complimented his hat, we entered this really big conversation on what roller coasters are coming out this year, what's our favorites, how many credits we have. It was nice seeing a fellow roller coaster enthusiast because those are kind of hard to come by, especially in the wild. On Saturday night, I really wanted to film in the area of the Bring Your Own Computer corner. Like the name suggests, people bring in their own desktops, laptops, or other devices and have a little LAN party. In order to use this area, you need to pay $40 extra on top of your ticket. So I asked one of the enforcers if I could go in the area just to capture footage of the computers. And he happily let me in, and that was really nice of him. On another occasion, I was waiting in line at Wisebird Games to play Nirvana, and the line was going at a snail's pace. And this PAX enforcer kept lapping around the booth and telling some pretty nice dad jokes. I know, dad jokes and nice don't really mix together that often. But it really helped lighten the mood since everyone was pretty crabby since it was the end of the day. I think the only real time that the enforcers kind of got angry or started to shout was in the beginning of the day. You see, when you first enter PAX and the Expo Hall isn't open, you're filed into this big sort of lane, and they really want to pack people in there, so they just start yelling at people to move up. God, just saying that is just triggering a lot of flashbacks. But I understand why they're antsy to get people smushed in. They just want to make sure that they can use the space effectively. But those 1 to 2 people aren't going to change my opinion at all. The PAX enforcers this year were killing it, and I'd like to say thank you to all enforcers for making PAX enjoyable and safe for everyone. Alright, now to cover all the stuff I got from PAX. A lot of vendors were handing out a lot of freebies, so I'm gonna cover those first. By going to the PAX Arena, you can get a free Nintendo Switch bag that has these Smash Bros. And Splatoon tournament designs on both sides. By going to the main Nintendo booth and scanning your My Nintendo QR code, you got a pin set that had the Nintendo Switch Online logo and the usual My Nintendo logo. So now I can rep 2 underdeveloped and disappointing services at the same time. At Nintendo, for every single demo you played, you got a ticket. For the main section, you got green tickets, and those will get you a Yoshi's Crafted World pop-out cardboard stand, and a Yoshi Iron-On patch. For playing in the Rated M area, you got a red ticket, and those got you a Nintendo Switch drawstring bag. But since I got 2 tickets from playing 2 games in that area, I got 2 drawstring bags. So this, along with the stuff I got last year, I now have 4 Nintendo Switch drawstring bags. I'm pretty sure that's useful for something. Also, my friend gave me this rubber Super Smash Bros. Tournament lanyard. I don't know where he got this, but hey, it's a welcome addition. over at Sony, they gave me 2 themes I can't use, because I don't own a PS4. I got a Crash Team Racing theme and a Dark theme. Over at Microsoft, they were handing out pins from Blazing Chrome, which actually looks pretty cool. It reminds me a lot of Contra Hardcores and The Good Life, whatever that is. Also, if you downloaded both the Mixer app and the Xbox Game Pass app on your phone, you got a free Mixer subscriber, which is a $6 value. And more importantly, 14 free days of Xbox Live Game Pass. They also gave me a lanyard. Over at Red, they were showing off the Red Hydrogen phone, a phone that has 3D but without the glasses. That kinda sounds familiar. By following Red Hydrogen on Twitter, I got this exclusive 3D sticker. It looks pretty high quality. I think little bits of it are made out of metal. They also had regular stickers there as well. Then at Corsair and Cooler Master, they were handing out different types of Cherry MX switches. I got the black switch, which is a very stiff red switch, a green switch, which is very clicky, the silent switch, which is a more quiet red, and a new type of Cherry MX Reds. I think these have the same travel distance when pressing keys, but they're going to be shipping with new keycaps that are pretty similar to what you would see on a laptop. So that's all the freebies that I got. Let's talk about the stuff that I actually bought. There's the copy of the Angry Video Game Nerd movie on Blu-ray that I got signed by James Rolfe, a pin of Sam from the upcoming game Nirvana, a plushie of Jill Stingray from Valhalla. She looks kind of pissed. A copy of Night Trap for the Nintendo Switch. I already own the 32X Sega CD combo version, but I don't want to deal with loading times, and my 32X is currently broken. And finally, the biggest thing I bought at this con was a new pair of Joy-Cons from Controller Chaos. The ones that I got were the Galaxy variant, which is one of their most popular. These are hand airbrushed, and they are completely stunning. When I first held these, I felt chills going down my spine. Not gonna lie, they're wicked expensive, but since I'm going to be using these Joy-Cons a lot, I feel like I got my money's worth. Alright, so I forgot that I bought this. I forgot which booth was selling it. Let me zoom out a little bit. It's a mystery box, and it's supposed to have $30 worth of items in it. Techni Sport. I don't know what that is. I'll probably put something on screen to describe that. A micro USB cable. I actually did need one of these. Didn't think I'd get it in this though. Just Dance 3 for the Xbox 360. I already have a copy of this, but okay. Avengers 48-piece puzzle. I can probably complete this. A Pokemon Sun and Moon Team Up Booster Pack. Oh, there's the place I got this from. Dial Up Games. I do like that grid design. A bunch of Astro stickers, which I actually do like. John Woohoo presents Stranglehold. At least it's complete in box, or case. And PlayStation 2 Jam Pack Summer 2003. $4 combo. Brought to you by PlayStation Underground. Well, Lisa has Amplitude. I've always wanted to try that. And this one's complete in case too. What's this? Well, that's probably expired. Oh, just one more thing. The 3D printed Overwatch keychain. I have a 3D printer. I could have just made this myself. Is there anything else? I paid $13 for this. That could have gone towards anything else. Mystery boxes are scams. Hey everybody, thanks for watching my video. If you guys are new and you've enjoyed what you've seen, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to follow me on Twitter to see updates on the channel and anything else that's going on in life. PAX East was definitely a blast this year, and hopefully I can go again next year. The only thing I know not to do is to buy mystery boxes from Dial Up Games. Anyways, I'm Nate the Gamer, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.